Okay.
Uh, well, hello everyone. Glad to see you in our fourth tag meeting. This is the meetings which are devoted to the project SWITLO, where we study, we learn how to manage with difficult situations, teaching and learning in difficult times. Today we have very interesting topic, and this topic is really important for every educator, and it means that the behavior of our students is always very interesting, sometimes strange, and we need to know what to do, especially nowadays when we have difficult times. We have the war in Ukraine. Talking about the war, I would like to remind that in the case of air raid sirens, be sure that you are in a safe place or proceed to shelter. As usually, I would like to give the floor to the facilitator of the project SWITLO, Любов Родін-Сова. You are welcome.
Thank you very much, Yaroslava. So Yaroslava has covered key safe points. So in case we have alarm, nearly 15-20 minutes, and I'll rejoin because I am going to run to shelter, and then I'd be really glad to see you again. Well, so today we are having with you topic devoted to managing challenged and distressed behavior. Let me share with you the presentation. So here you can see our topic actually. And as usual, following the procedure, let me start with a simple social and emotional check for today. So how are you getting on? On the screen, you can see some pictures. So you may use chart to pick the proper picture about your feelings today, or you may use the rule of the raising hand when you raise a hand and try to comment on something in case you'd like to. Yeah, I can see one response in the chat. Oh my, so stretching squirrel, that's fantastic. Number 7, yeah, really interesting, probably kind of verbal. Yeah. Okay, waiting for the rest of participants. Please join us. We haven't seen anything from Olga and Yaroslava. I'm not sure, maybe I'm number 3 because I'm somewhere in the middle of stress. It's end of semester, you know. Yaroslava is number 4. Really sweet. Okay, Olga, what about you? Okay, thank you. So our basic learning outcomes for today, Olga is number 40. Great, we have 2 number 4s. So our learning outcomes are the following. We are supposed to identify what we learned about managing challenging behavior from module 2 of our online course of British Council on the platform of OTC, which is called Teaching and Learning in Difficult Times, and try to suggest ways to deal with specific situations and challenging learner behavior in our classrooms. So I hope we will do our best to cover them today. So, but all in all, I propose you to start with a simple warmer, which is called Genie in a Bottle. So, what would be your task? Try to think of 3 wishes which you would like to be granted. And I'm going to share with you the collaborative whiteboard from Zoom. And I hope you'd be able to draw there your wishes. and maybe to comment on them. So here you can see the board. It is quite a new tool, as far as I know. You may use some tools, change colors, and try to draw your 3 wishes which you'd like to be granted in the nearest future. Natalie decided to write. Okay. As far as I know, there is a colorful square button to use in case you'd like to change the color. Because it is black right now. And it can be changed to any. And I'll try to make it smaller. Travel into the Carpathians. Kind of forest. Okay. Well, I didn't have to ask, actually. I had to wait and then to ask you to comment on, but I guessed. You may print your text and adjust it to the size in case you need to, as far as I remember. Or you may delete something. Down there are 2 arrows to add something and to delete something. So to add is to the right side and to delete is to the left side. And there are actually some shapes. And you can move what you draw. Yeah, somebody found sticky note. That's cool. Now I don't know the meanings. You'd probably have to explain.
Just investigating.
It's really nice too. I usually share it with my students when we work online. I give them the task to create sentences, and each of them is writing simultaneously. It's really suitable to check them all the time. Yaroslava is not checking any tools. Have you tried them before?
No, I even can't find the tools.
Oh my God. I do see your icon down there, maybe blue one, circle, but I don't know why it doesn't work. Usually it works.
So where are the tools? I have chat, I have sharing the screen.
I've got them at the left side.
Left side, okay.
I'm sharing it with everybody. The only one thing I can do is to give you actually the link in the chat.
Maybe
Will
work.
will it
Thank
be
you.
more?
Because on the left I have only unmute and stop video.
I've got them down. And it's like on the whiteboard, there are some tools at the top, at the left side, and at the right, bottom right corner, there are some tools too. So does it work now?
I sent you some notations that I would like to join this board notification. Mhm.
I don't see anything, and according to my tools, it is said that I am the owner of the board, and all who are in my conference can do some additions, because it is like Natalia is editor, then one more Natalia is editor, and Yaroslava Kozina is editor too. And it says that everybody who's got access can see what I'm sharing. It's hard to get. Maybe I need to go to email to check it out. It was a brilliant idea. Why didn't it work? I don't know. I'll try with my phone actually. I hope it is going to work, because I thought it is really easy and simple. I'm consuming a bit. Deeply sorry for that, but I didn't expect. Maybe that's just technical issues. I still see the same board. Okay, yeah. Well, I tried to resend like an invitation, so try it out.
Why have you resent it? I see the same in our chat box.
To your email, there must be a notification to your email, and it's set again in my another tool, another gadget. I can see that you are an editor there.
Well, so where again the same question, where should I take tools to use them on the board? It's really a challenge for me. I haven't tried it before. That's why I can't find.
I do my best. I'll send you actually the screenshot
Mm-hmm.
where you can see the tools. They are at the left side, if you can see them. Maybe you need to adjust the board to make it smaller or bigger.
Maybe smaller. How can I do that? To make it smaller.
Down there is a tool with percentages. I don't know whether you can see it or not. So this is smaller and bigger.
The pictures are getting bigger or smaller, but I still can't see any tools. So maybe don't wait for me.
Yeah, unfortunately we won't. We tried our best to help you with it. I don't know what went wrong. It said that you've got organizational email. Maybe because of that we have such a thing. Okay. So
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. We've got only 2 drawings. So for me, May 31st is such a great line. You know, when it happens, I would be probably happier to 90% because I've got 11th grade and we are to organize everything. We're working on presentation, constantly rehearsing. It's kind of mess so much. So for me, 31st of May is just was hard to finish it. Oh, now I see your tool, Yaroslava. Don't you have tools yet? Because I saw Yaroslava Kozina on screen. Did it work?
Started.
Well, she nodded, so probably it did. So, Natalia, what about you?
Yeah, I also join you in expectation of this, the most desired day, the best for all the teachers. I think so. So all this, I've tried using these notes. Yeah. So I wanted to show that I'd like to have the times when we are not expected to do the tasks, when everything is done, everything is clear, we are free of all the assignments, tasks, so nothing to do, anything. No, victory means we all desire, it's our wish for all. Yes, and of course, speaking about holidays, traveling somewhere to the Crimean Mountains in particular, so I'm looking forward to going there. Yes, it's a thing that can warm my heart. For today, for today, we will see how it works, but still.
It's great to have wishes to travel. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
I see Yaroslava managed to add the picture. Yeah, thank you, Natalia. So Yaroslava added the picture. Yeah, it worked. Hooray, we did it. My congratulations. It took a long time probably, but all in all, in 20 minutes we managed to do that. Is it about victory?
Yeah, it's Dove of Peace. But unfortunately, I can see it on the board, but it isn't in our Zoom conference. We can't see it.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm closing our board. I think it was great experience. And as usual, I am to ask you whether it would be appropriate for you to try this tool with your learners. No doubt, yeah. And it's not hard. So, well, actually, it took some time to join Yaroslava, but I don't know why. Usually you just open the board and then you work. You don't need any further preparations. Okay, thank you very much. So getting back to my presentation. So, cool question. What did you do since our last meeting? And I remember that last time we were talking to you about gender in language teaching. So In case you have tried anything, oops, sorry, here are the key points to share. Have you tried anything concerning to gender in language teaching? How did it work? Were there some issues that arose, or you can share something positive that happened in the lesson connecting to our topic? Were there any issues? Let's start with this one. No issues. Well, usually we don't have them. I remember we've been discussing that last time, that luckily most of our classes do not have such difficulties with gender in language teaching. So actually almost nothing to discuss. Yeah. Well, something positive, I don't know whether it considered to gender, but probably the understanding of the situation that we are rolled into the end of semester can be considered as positive. Okay, so also I have joined the participants to the course online. So in module 2, you have covered linking trauma and behavior. And here are the goals of that module. So it is supposed that right now you know how to recognize that behavior is a communication of need, and that challenging behavior can be viewed as a distressed behavior, and to explain the links between trauma and some types of behavior. Also, we've been discussing changing responses and patterns of behavior. So again, here you can see just the goals. But the thing is that you were supposed to look at them, some neuroscience parts of the brain, to choose ways of responding to behavior in class, and recognize some unconscious defense mechanism of protection and transference to break negative patterns of classroom interaction and to choose the different teacher responses. Actually, there, if you got to course, I hope you got, there were 3 things which are reason, relate, and regulate. Usually all the behavior starts with regulation, then it can appear relation and reasoning. We'll talk about it a little bit more today. And the last thing which was there is implementing trauma-informed strategies. So we would discuss with you some strategies practical today, and we'll try to understand whether they are suitable to manage distressed behavior of our students. So probably those who were at the first pre-meeting, which was like an advertising, remember that we were talking about the twin brain, which contains of 3 parts: reptilian brain, limbic brain, and neocortex. So here you can see questions. How does trauma affect different parts of brain, and how does it cause certain behavior? So, and actually I would like you to play a bit. So we are to think and recollect, in case we are conscious about that, which I hope is actually like that. So which part of the brain is responsible for what? Otherwise, where is what? So here you can see the link and the QR code to try to join and play the game, matching different patterns of behavior and different emotional reactions to different parts of the brain. And as usual, I'm giving you some moments to scan the code, and then I'll send you the link in the chat so that you could join this game. Okay, so in a second you will get the link to your chat to play online. Here it is. And I'm about to share with you what the game looks like till you're playing. So there is like the name, and you are to choose where to put it. So flight, you may option. Oh, it's not actually like that because flight is for reptilian brain for sure, but not all the dots are available to be matched. Then fight. So, tell you the truth, there is no difference whether you put fight number 1 before flight or flight before fight. All of them are connected with the same. So you may try until you find the proper option. Okay, I think it is possible to be done on your own. And as soon as you're ready, let me know in the chat, please, so that we could go on and discuss your answers to that. Okay, so who's ready? Yeah, great, Yaroslava. I don't know, Natalia isn't showing anything. Olga, Natalia, I hope you're ready too. Not sure actually, but I'll know. Okay, so let's see. Here you can see all the things you've been played with. But before getting to that, what do you think of that Educa play? Was it a useful resource? Well, I actually never use some resources which require payment, so that one is free. You can create some more games in there, not only like that with matching on the map, but just matching of the cards, jumping on some leaves of the frog. They are really interesting and quite engaging, I think. Okay, so let's see. If we talk about fight, what part of the brain is responsible for fight? What would it be? Reptilian brain, limbic brain, or neocortex? Well, I have actually done that for you. So fight is for reptilian brain, flight is for reptilian. Then what about flock?
Also,
Yeah,
reptilian.
exactly. Freeze a response or responses.
Emotions.
No, go there too, because it's just like primary behavior. Okay, yeah, if we talk about emotional part, which is limbic brain, which of the things would go there?
Anxiety responses.
Yeah,
Inability to describe feelings.
being overwhelmed is
Overwhelmed.
there, yes. Then, not sure whether it is visible, inability to name emotions. And
Inability to
to
describe feelings.
only last two are referred to the last three are referred to the next brain. I have actually recreated it, so here it would be more clear. Because with the arrows, it's hard to understand what is where. Well, at least it was for me. last one. Yeah. So here you can see these parts of the brain, if we're talking about the theory of trillion brain, are responsible for different behaviors. I'm trying to find tools, sorry for that. Okay, so get into changing responses and patterns of behavior. So when children and people are calm, regulated, they find it easier to form trust in people, which is relation, and use their cognitive skills optimally for reasoning. You will listen to the audio, and the task for you would be to find out, do teacher strategies help learners to regulate, relate, or reason? And then we are going to discuss the next question, but all in all, so again, we are trying to listen to the audio and try to understand whether the strategies help to regulate, relate, or reason.
A. Sometimes a student will get worked up about.
Sorry, I need to check whether it's audible.
Yeah, I'm here.
A. Sometimes a student will get worked up about something that is said in class. They want to debate it. I tell them that I'm happy to answer any questions, and sometimes we can discuss things as a class, but I don't want to get into arguments.
So any ideas, what was it? Regulation, relation, or reasoning?
Maybe relation, just to filter. No,
No, it was regulation, sorry.
regulation.
Students are supposed to be calmer, and as teacher said, he doesn't want to argue with them, so it is regulation mostly. Okay, let's try to get to another one.
B.
I know that when a student acts out in aggression, it's usually because of anger or pain. When talking to them privately, I always ask them to talk to me about what they're feeling, and I make sure I acknowledge it. I talk about how it's fine to have these feelings, but not to act out aggressively.
C.
Oh, sorry. So what about B?
Oh, maybe relate.
Reason. Reason.
No,
that's
relate.
not
Relate, yes.
Not
How
about
to
cognitive
feel.
skills. Yes, that is about relation.
Relative, yeah. Explaining that what they feel, and that's okay if they feel that. Yes, explain.
Yes, thank you.
But not to act out aggressively.
Sorry, still B?
C.
I know that when I'm anxious or stressed, I find it relaxing to listen to soft, calm music and avoid loud or jarring videos and images. I found that my students are the same. Sometimes I just turn the lights off for a few minutes and play soft, calm music or nature sounds. I might play a YouTube video that has nature sights and sounds like rain in the jungle. I think they all benefit. Me too.
So, any ideas?
Maybe a reason for listening, for choosing.
Again, it is regulation.
Regulation, yeah.
She gets calm by doing this, so she proposes the same way to her students.
And then,
D.
I've found that often the reason students act out inappropriately when they feel anger or embarrassment is because they really can't think of anything else they can do to feel better. I spend my time talking with these students and offering alternatives. For example, I tell them they can leave the room for a few minutes, or they can put their head on their arms on their desk.
So,
they discuss reasons. So maybe reason.
exactly, reasoning.
The first one.
E. When I'm doing classroom tasks like cleaning the board, organising desks or handing out worksheets, I like to ask students to help me. Sometimes this is just what they need to take care of some physical or mental agitation. F.
Regulate.
When a student consistently
Yes, it was regulation. I'm not really good with techniques, sorry.
F.
When a student consistently resists the same request, I tell him or her that they do have a choice. If they want to refuse to follow the rules, they can. I tell them I don't agree with their choice and that there'll be consequences, but they do have that right.
Well,
G.
Just like me, sometimes students
What about
Maybe relate. Relation. Or regulation again. Regulation again.
there
yes.
would be consequences after their actions.
So,
So actually that is reasoning.
mhm, mhm.
But they do have that right.
G.
Just like me, sometimes students need a moment of quiet time to gather their thoughts or take some calm, deep breaths. We have a corner in the classroom where students can go if they need to be alone. Sometimes I ask a student to go there for a few minutes if I feel that it would be beneficial.
Regulation какие-то. Нет?
Exactly.
What to do.
H.
I learned some strategies in my meditation class that really help me calm down when I'm anxious or stressed. So I taught some to my students too. For example, I do deep breathing exercises with them and I explain how it works to help calm ourselves down.
Mhm. Explain.
So
Mm.
regulation, relation, or reason.
Maybe relation.
Relation or regulation? Regulation.
Relation is when students like move their
Mhm.
attitude from one point or from one person to another. So this is when there are some yoga exercises, breathing in and breathing out is not relation, you know, it's not just transferring the opinion from one person to another. So
Regulation.
yes,
Regulation.
it is. Because for reasoning, you need to use some cognitive skills.
Yeah.
And this is regulation, just some strategies to help.
I. Well, I think sometimes what students need is simply to get their mind off a task that may be too demanding. I distract them with simple, non-creative, logical tasks like sorting, ordering, even something like 5 minutes of desk tidying helps.
So what about this one?
Mhm. Not reason.
Not reason.
Not reason. Again, regulation.
Yes, it is.
This.
It is regulation, yes.
It
To
is.
help them to manage with stress, to break
Yes.
something, to
A
smaller.
kind of advice, yeah, something.
J.
I regularly ask my students privately how they're getting on in the class. With those that I know are struggling, I make an extra effort to let them take their time to tell me how they're feeling. I want them to feel completely comfortable with me.
I think this is about a relation. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. Fantastic. Thank you. You did great
Really.
job. Okay. Have you tried any of the strategies with your learners? Okay, which strategies could you try then? Which are appropriate for you among all the pile you have heard to? Well, I may share my experience.
yeah.
Just thinking probably I have tried some breathing techniques before the test, and that usually worked well. Not with the students which I teach now, but nearly 4 or 5 years ago, before COVID, we breathed in, breathed out, and then we got to test. It worked really well. It's kind of regulative. methodology there probably was. Okay, Natalia, you wanted to say something. I'm just-
Building relationships, yes, building relationships. Maybe this building rapport between your students, your students, yes, just to make them feel maybe not being afraid of making mistakes, feeling comfortable, feeling free to ask questions if something is unclear. So that's okay. That can work in our relationships. I'm not the boss who just judges. So this works.
And he knows all the answers, yeah? Just some of them.
Yes,
which
I don't know. Yes, I can also make mistakes. I can also. I want them to understand that we all learn from our mistakes. Yes, it's a good way to remember, but feeling free is also important.
Yeah, surely,
Not stress.
they need to feel comfortable to share with you their opinion,
Yeah.
and some of their thoughts. Otherwise, why to share them if they are afraid or threatened?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Getting a bit far. So there are some defense mechanisms. Do you remember any? I ought to ask Colonel. Well, here is the first actually one, which is transference. So transference happens when the feelings, behaviors, and attitudes from another relationship are transferred or reenacted in the relationships with the teacher. I'll try to move that bar a bit higher so you can see from parent figure everything moved to teacher. So the teacher will laugh at my feelings because the parent does that. This is like transference, and that is defense mechanism. Or sometimes defense mechanism can be positive. But all in all, here it is not so positive because she was not sure with herself. As you can see, I'm so useless, I can't do anything right, everyone thinks I'm stupid. But all in all, this transference lead to probably positive development of the person because she's got a response like the answer is good, and she could speak up a bit so everyone can hear her, so she would be more sure in her behavior and her responses. There also can be one more defense mechanism, which is displacement. So the person tries to displace himself, as you can see, even though he's heard that he is luckily to come and he was expected. Or something like that, which leads to negative behavior. So some children aren't in position to direct their emotional reactions to the person who calls them, because here he hates person, and then at the playground he just transfers this to somebody else, which is not really good. You can see it can lead to difficult behavior, and we should not take it personally. We should be patient with these learners and perhaps guide them to help with their personal relationships. Well, there can be some more defense mechanism. For example, this one. This one is actually kind of regression. When person faced with stress will regress to an earlier stage of development. You probably saw it like a childish behavior of somebody, yeah? And there are great examples of that in your online course, so I won't stop on that for a long time. And there can be one more defense mechanism, which is actually like denial. So people just deny the reality which they can't cope with. So it's like, I will, mom, but she did nothing actually. In most cases, they say, I'm not crying, it's allergies, I'm fine, leave me alone, I don't care if I pass or fail, I don't care if they laugh at me. Well, here are some tips for teacher language, which we are to be conscious about as we are educators. So, probably the first one is acknowledge the positive intention behind the behavior. When the kid behaves in a challenging behavior, it is not always personal and probably it's just unconscious. We are to use language which shows you have a high expectations of the learner, or higher expectation of the learner, which works perfectly well. Probably you would be able to share your own experience, but in all the classes where I get to, I do expect much, and they actually give it. They work as hard as they can to reach the goals. Then we are to give positive reinforcement for good behavior, particularly if the learner's just been misbehaving. So it is not to focus on misbehaving, but probably to focus on good behavior and to exaggerate that you appreciate their good behavior more of the rest. Then we are supposed to take opportunities to develop rapport by remembering something about the learners, which Natalia was talking about before that. Using things as in the end of instructions, which helps too. I think it's a part of building rapport too. Focus and comment on pupils who are doing what is required. Again, positive focusing. Sometimes it is really useful to put yourself in the learner's shoes and start from where they are and use the language of need rather than obligation. So it's not like you must, but it would be better if you could. Okay, how to deal with challenging and distressed behavior. I wonder if there are any of your examples. How did you deal with such behavior? How did you feel? How did you respond on challenging students' behavior? What was the impact? Any ideas of the reasons of that behavior in case you've got such examples? And if you face the situation again, what would you do? So, have you got anything to share? Everybody has perfect students with no challenging behavior. Looks fantastic. Okay, well, actually, I've got an audio for you. So it is possible to listen to the audio and try to compare whether you had similar experience and which of the ideas would be applicable for you in your educational practice. Here we go.
1.
I've learned that when my students behave badly, it's not always deliberate. If they have experienced trauma, they may find it difficult to focus and behave appropriately in a group learning situation. Often they cannot speak about how they feel and can only show their feelings through their behaviour. For many students who've experienced trauma, their behaviour is showing us their upset and distress. Someone once suggested that we think of it as distressed behaviour and not bad behaviour. I found that helpful.
2. When I'm not able...
Well, I think I'll stop it all. Okay. So, what about number 1? Did you have something similar? No. Today we have quiet group. Not usual, because usually we share something and now everybody's quiet. Okay.
And can only show their fear is showing us their... Someone once suggested bad behaviour. I found that helpful.
2. When I'm not able to manage my students' behaviour, I feel incompetent and helpless. I think it's important to remember that these feelings are normal. I've worked hard on managing my own feelings so I can react to the behaviour appropriately. It makes a big difference.
3.
Some teachers talk about student behavior that directly challenges the teacher. But I don't really get that with my students. However, I do feel incompetent when they talk about traumatic issues they've had to deal with, such as forced migration or war. I guess there are all different kinds of challenges, and some of the challenges are my own. For example, things will bother me more if I'm tired or upset from something else in my life.
4. In class, the rules are pretty clear. We want students to wait their turn and not call out or interrupt other people. But I've learnt that some of them have lived in communities where they get nothing if they wait their turn. They learn to grab things first or to push to the front of the line to make sure they're noticed and get what they need. It can be difficult for these learners to change their behaviour in the classroom situation. So I guess I've realised that people develop their behaviour to fit their environment, and what kept them safe outside the classroom may not be helpful in the classroom. This helps me understand their behaviour better.
Well, probably after listening and relating to your own experience, you've got some ideas to share. Well, all in all, I'll share mine. When I got new group of students, usually some difficulties with behavior can occur. I'm not sure whether they are caused by trauma or some challenging behaviors, but all in all, they try the limits. As soon as I set the limits, everything works perfectly well. In case they don't listen, I need to actually find the key, how to cope with that, and well, 3-4 lessons and everything starts to work better. Just from my own experience. What about you?
Yeah, I also agree that it is very important to set some restrictions, some rules of behavior, rules to respond, and so on. And if they see that I'm fair, I follow them and I pay attention to their response. So it will work. It can work. Of course, they will challenge at a certain age our I don't know, patience or something like that. But still, if we try to discuss with them the reasons for such kind of behavior, if they understand that it can be insulting for a person, and sometimes or quite often they don't address such behaviors, their emotions, to me personally, but I can show them how it looks like. So just to help understand their feelings, their emotions, name them, yes, what was, and then think how to deal with them after that, maybe this kind of thing.
Thank you. Okay, probably we're getting far, yeah? So here are our outcomes which we started our session from. Let's see whether we covered them or not. Your ideas. Did we identify what we learned from the course about challenging behavior? Did we discuss the ways to deal with specific situation and challenging behavior in our classrooms? Yeah, we did for sure. Okay, getting far. So here are some useful tips for teachers from the point of view of that managerial of the managing of that challenged or distressed behavior. So probably the thing we are to have in mind is that we are supposed to be aware that there may be times when problems arise in your interactions with learners which are not predictable or caused by your actions. Not all the teacher behavior leads to misbehaving of students. Also, we are to be aware of the patterns of behavior and interaction with the learner. You and other adults in the school may be getting caught up in their patterns of behavior and reacting in the way they expect, which may not be the most helpful way. So we are just maybe to bear that in our mind. We can try to recognize and break unhelpful patterns of interaction by doing something different. It is important to give learners experiences that allow them to relate to people in new ways. Okay, well, get into the next part. So we have already covered with you 4 topics of our course, and we are getting to the time when we can choose among 5 more topics. The topic of our next session, which is planned on the 5th of June, on 3:30, as far as I remember. So those 4 have been covered, and it is time to choose the new one. Down there is a link, and you can see the QR code to join and to vote for the topic which seems more appropriate for you to be picked for the next lesson. And probably in a second, I'll share with you the link where to go in case it is hard to use QR code to join. So here it goes. I see 1 vote for trauma. Two votes for trauma. And as far as I remember, trauma is based on our course 2. So it's like we do not have quorum, but in case most participants insist on trauma, let it be so. Well, getting back to our presentation, because you probably remember that all the time we've got something like home assignment from there. Oh, trauma. So for trauma, you are supposed to work with module 1 on the self-assessment course on OTC platform from British Council. And it is time to do simple reflection. So here are the key points you are to focus on. What are the learning points from today? What are you going to think or learn more about? And what are you going to try? From my point, I must admit that I'm going to send you some additional reading connected with challenging and distressed behavior to your emails, exactly to participants of today's meeting, so that you could deepen inside the topic. And also, I would like you to join the link to give me some reflection of today's meeting. And again, it is about, in a second, to get the link to the meeting. Just a moment. I think by the end of the meeting, I've lost myself somewhere inside the slides. Sorry for that. Well, here is the link. So could you please join and write some responses in the tag reflective form? As far as I can see, there are only several questions, not too much. Seven questions. I hope they're not hard to be answered. So waiting for your responses, please.
Are the questions about gender?
No.
Yes.
No.
something. But I see. I'll check it again. But,
Sorry, maybe there's some misunderstanding. It is still the same link.
Yeah, it's the same link. Or not.
But I don't see questions about gender, no. I'm
The
sure.
first, the third. Yeah, the same. Have you
No,
considered?
gender inclusivity. No.
You see,
I see.
gender
I see different. I see different
a bit
questions.
strange. I don't understand why.
Mhm.
It is like tag 4 reflective form.
Mm.
Text 3,
I-
you have text 3, reflective form, link.
Mhm.
Oh my God.
Mhm.
Sorry. Then I don't understand what am I doing wrong, because actually I had created the link and I was pretty sure that I sent you the proper link. Nice. Okay, check it up now. Whether that is about tag 4 now? I hope it is, because you know, I've copied it from the page and it's like, oh my God. Something's wrong with the world today. It's supposed to be with the mountain and blossom trees underneath. Yeah. All in all, the sin is not when you're making mistakes, but how you can cope with them. So probably I'm passing this test over and over again, coping with some difficulties. And I am absolutely sure that I've checked it before the meeting and it worked perfectly well. Okay, nevertheless, waiting for your responses still. It's good to be facilitator. I do not have ready-made answers. I am learning from you, you are learning from me. It's cool position. It's like I have right to make some mistakes because of that position. Well, I have responses from Natalia and still waiting for something from Yaroslava. And probably from Olha, in case you find it appropriate to answer, that would be nice. Okay, thank you very much. Well, getting to the hardest part of today's session, which looks like this.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, time.
Thank you
Time.
for your participation, for your time. Despite all the overwhelming tasks teachers have at the end of semester, you found time to come and join to me today, and you were sharing quite open. So thank you very much. Hope to see you in June, on the 5th of June, as far as I remember, at 3:30 Kyiv time. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you for the session, for the participation, for the joining. Hope to see you next time.